Hello and welcome to Coded Guitar's Level 1 lesson on open chords. Today we're going to be looking at some four-fingered major chords. Hopefully you can already play a little bit. You've had a look at some of the beginner lessons and hopefully beginner songs as well. So you've had a go at some three-fingered chords. You've played them in some chord sequences. Hopefully you've played them in time with the backing tracks or with the website drum machine. But we're just going to be adding our little finger. We haven't really used this up to this point. So the first chord we're going to be looking at is a G. So up to this point you've been playing a G, hopefully like this, three fingers. So finger 1, fret 2 on the A, 5th string, finger 2, fret 3 on the E or the 6th string, and then finger 3 right down there on string 1 with the top E, fret 3. And then you can strum all 6 strings. Now all we're going to be doing is we're just literally going to be lifting our third finger up onto fret 3 of the 2nd string of the B and then tucking our little finger underneath onto the top E where the 2nd finger was previously. Now it sounds really similar. Okay, possibly the four-fingered one slightly more positive sounding, but the main benefit of playing it is that sometimes it makes it easier to change between chords when we put this version of the G in certain chord sequences. Because often you'll get like common notes. There's a free beginner lesson on chord changing and common notes if you don't know what I'm talking about. Common notes between the different chords, that is. So just a very quick recap. Like I said, hopefully you can actually play your basic three-fingered chords okay, but just remember it's really important to think about which part of the end of your finger you actually use to fret the string with. If you're too close to the nail, what it's going to mean is there's going to be too much of the skin of the end of your finger hanging down and it's going to interfere with the string underneath. So I'm pushing down too close to the nail there on string 6, so my finger's just catching string 5, and I mean I can obviously move round like this and I can clear the string, but that's awkward and that's a big movement. Here's a very little movement. I'll literally reposition my finger. So the only thing I've moved there is my finger, whereas before I've moved my whole arm, which is not what we want to do. So make guitar playing as easy as possible, basically. So minimal movement, lift your finger up, reposition it, don't bend the string, take your finger off the string and reposition it, and then straight away not catching string 5. So exactly the same approach with all of your fingers. Just experiment with what feels comfortable to you. I'm using my wrist quite a bit for the G, as hopefully you have been with the three-fingered version. So it's just, yep, finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4, like that. All 6 strings. Now with fingers 3 and 4, sometimes you can almost kind of overlap them, hook them round. Some people find this quite difficult actually, but it can be quite useful when they're right next door to each other in chord shapes. So I'm sort of curling them round here so that the ends of my fingers are basically coming in line, and then I can use that, and that makes it quite easy. I mean, they're coming apart a little bit, but that principle is often quite helpful when you're playing these types of chords. And yeah, just experiment with that. Hopefully that'll be fine. Now here's another four-finger chord. This one is a C add 9. Okay, it's a major chord. It's a C chord with an extra note added, hence the add 9 in the name of it. We don't need to worry about the theory of this for the time being. There'll be a later lesson on the theory, but you can play the chord without really understanding exactly what it's all about. Nice jangly sounding chord, that one. Gets used in loads of songs, particularly in combination with the G, because it's almost the same. Literally all you're doing is you're moving fingers 1 and 2 down from strings 5 and 6, the A and the E, down to strings 4 and 5, the D and the G. So fret 2 on the D, fret 3 on the A. And then generally, obviously these two things have just stayed where they are. and generally just the top 4 strings sounds better, so we don't really want a low E in the bass. So that is a C add 9 chord, fretting it in a very, very similar way to the G. Okay, hardly any movement there. A chord that wouldn't often get combined with these two because it will sound a bit out of place, but gets used in a load of songs, is a B. Now we're going to be playing there are what we call bar chords, which we'll be looking at later levels. We'll start to look at these in level 2. They're a bit tricky, so we're not worrying about them for the time being. So we're going to be playing a B in a non-bar version. Bar just means you clamp your first finger over the strings. So we're going to be playing a B, just playing the top 4 strings, like that. A full B, we would sometimes play all 6 or the top 5. So what we're doing here is a little bit tricky. We're going to be pushing down with finger 1 on fret 2 of the top E, and then we've got these in a line, fingers 2, 3 and 4 on fret 4 of the D, G and B strings. Now again, that idea of keeping these 2 fingers in line and sort of clamping them round, I'm almost doing that with all 3 fingers here. So I'm curling them round so that the ends of my fingers roughly come to a point, and so I can use that because it's quite a tight space to fit your fingers in there. It's a little bit of a stretch. We're not actually going to be using this chord that much in the sort of level 1 songs, but it's just useful to know it. Okay, so it's a bit of a stretch. It might feel like it's a bit of tension there. Obviously use your wrist again a little bit. I've maybe actually just moved my thumb up a tiny bit. There's a G, my thumb's a bit further down here. And then for the B, just because I'm reaching up onto fret 4, maybe my thumb's just moved up a tiny bit there. So top 4 strings, not strings 5 and 6 as well. That's sounding a little bit vague, a bit muddy in the bass there, because like I said, the full B is a bar chord where we'll actually be fretting the bottom strings as well. So there's 3 4-fingered open major chords. You can combine that with hopefully the other chords you can play from beginner level. A, C, D, E. There was an F major 7. We're not playing a full F or F minor yet at level 1 because these involve bars as well, so we're going to be looking at those at level 2, G. And then there was obviously the minor chords, A minor, E minor, D minor and so on. So have a go popping these into different sequences and try and come up with your own, basically writing songs if you do that. And obviously look at the other lessons on strumming patterns and open strums in between chords, so you can start combining different lessons. These chords, particularly the G and the C add 9, get used a lot in our level 1 songs. So level 1 acoustic and level 1 melodic rock and also level 1 classic rock, I believe they all use 4-fingered G, C add 9, and you can learn those in detailed lessons and have a go with full band play along tracks at different speeds, so it feels like you're actually playing in a band straight away. So that's it, fairly short lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you here again soon on Coda Guitar.